Welcome back. Architectural technologist and visual artist as well as graphic designer Takudzwa Mukesi is currently pursuing his honors in architecture at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. He's here this evening to talk to us about the recently held Sip and Sketch workshop that was hosted by the Namibia Architecture Student Association under the theme People in Motion. Good evening and welcome.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Architectural technologist. You young people come up with such catchy phrases. What is an architectural technologist in your own words?
Technically, it's like the name given to the trade, but you are basically technically based in architecture. So you are I wouldn't say in cliche terms, according to what the definition presumes, you are working with the technicalities of like architecture and buildings. So I'm basically documenting the building, making sure that it's realized, it's in regulation according to the municipality and so on. So I've actually completed my master's in architecture, so that's why it's senior. In that case, it's not architecture technical, it's just it.
The workshop that you were a part of was, about people in motion. Explain that to us a little bit.
With the Namibia Architecture Students Association, what they do is annually they give us an approach to try to kind of teach design or give us a different perspective on design. So for us at the workshop, we were tasked to basically teach people design based on movement, people in movement. Whereas we cannot ignore the fact that people are constantly in movement. There are certain phenomena that happen when people are in movement. So how is architecture influenced by that? So it was us trying to kind of give people a perspective on design, that design is not stagnant as the Renaissance has based it to be, but now how people are engaging with movement and different complexities like that. Yes.
So what was your approach to this theme of movement?
So my approach was actually pretty funny. It was actually pretty cool, I guess. Me and my friend we basically designed how murder mysteries usually goes, where you have to look for the person who murdered who. So what we basically did, we called it narrative mysteries, where we basically made a scene or a scenario in a way where we set up the part of the studio into a set where different circumstances happen. So by moving around, this set starts morphing into different stories because you're picking up different cues and you're picking up different things. So having to see different things around the space through movement allows people to have a different perspective on things. So it was us teaching perspective through movement.
That was such a cool concept. I don't even know you came up with that. That's really cool.
Well, thank you so much.
You also collaborated with Dr. Madeleine.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about her and about your collaboration.
So Dr. Madeleine is wonderful. I think she's like one of the most influential people that I've been so far in my life in relation to having to tutor me. She was actually my supervisor for architecture, my master's. So she basically cultured me into that, and we also had an exhibition earlier this year, which was Artism, which was also catering to neurodiversity and things like that. So within that workshop, it was really cool reimagining the same space. We worked in the same space, we had the same exhibition. So working with her is always wonderful because she comes up with these brilliant ideas. I'm like, how do I feed off you and try to reimburse that? So she had her workshop was drawing with music. So that was pretty cool. Then I was like, what follows music? And I was like, music videos. So that's when the film and the narrative came through. So yeah, it was really interesting. Yeah.
How, does, workshops such as this and obviously working on projects with Dr. Madeleine Stoffberg aid your career and your studies?
I think for me, I allow myself to have a different vantage point on my career in general. I never want to have like a very stagnant, definable job, if I had to call it that. So the coolest way to do it is through collaboration because you force yourself to stretch as much. So right now, like for instance, I'm also collaborating with a cinematographer / photographer / a camera whiz called Chris Chitate. He is like a local street artist. We are working on art together and together my pieces. So he pushes me in that way. Then I also collaborate with David Bucas, who's called Luminous, who does music and production. So they actually forced me to move my art or my thesis into these different avenues and be able to give it new life every single time. So yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Any more workshops upcoming that you'd like to tell us about?
I don't know. Probably you see me at First Friday on this Friday at Eagles, or yeah, we'll be just around. Usually it's just pop-ups, so we are really anonymous with it usually. But yeah, with the coming, we're hoping to work with the National Art Gallery or the National Archives soon. So we'll keep you in touch for
That'd
sure.
be awesome.
Yes.
Takudzwa, thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you so much for
You
having
learn
me.
something new every day.
It's always wonderful to learn as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Architectural technologist Takudzwa Mukesi speaking to us there. We've also come to the end of this evening's program.